Dancers are unhappy about the depiction of the dance world in the psychological thriller Black Swan. Our next guest thinks any publicity for ballet is good publicity.
At the age of 14, she left Ireland to train in Russia, where she became the first European to dance for the prestigious Tchaikovsky Perm State Ballet. She then went on to feature in major productions of Swan Lake, The Nutcracker and Romeo and Juliet. Now this week, she takes to the stage in a production of the classic French ballet Giselle, and we're joined this morning and it's been a while, too long I have to say, by Ireland's only prima ballerina, current prima ballerina, Monica Loughman.
Good morning.
Nice to see you, Mrs. How are you?
I know, it's good to be back. It's been about 3 years. About time. I just saying the distance now is getting greater.
You just woke up early in the morning, so that's...
I was up at 6.
Right.
I'm off training after this, so yeah.
Now listen, let's get this Black Swan thing out of the way.
Yeah.
I think the point that people are missing is that it's a movie.
It is, exactly. You
it's
just take it, you know.
Thriller.
That's exactly what it is. It's a story about a girl who happens to do ballet. But the ballet in it is very, you know, rudimentary. It's just like flapping of arms. It's not really ballet, you know, but like a lot of people got upset about it, especially in the States, whereas I just went as a member of the public and just watched it. And to be quite honest with you, I laughed so loud that the rest of the audience were laughing out loud as well. Like she starts stealing stuff, which I thought was hilarious. So it makes us all look like kleptomaniacs as well, you know. So I was just like, how bad can this get? But it was fun. It was. But
this is about somebody who's going mad.
Yeah.
You know, who's mentally and psychologically fragile, and because of the pressure that she's putting herself under, the madness.
I know, but the thing is, people ask me often about ballet, do you get that involved? You do, but you leave it in the studio. You can't take it home with you. And again, about the eating disorders, you cannot function at such a high level and be doing what she was doing and be sick. You might get a year out of it, you wouldn't get any longer.
I was saying this to you, I was in Cork when the National Ballet was set up down there, right? And I tell you, the dancers, they were hardcore. I mean, they worked like animals. They were working.
Yeah, you have to. You're an athlete, exactly.
But they ate. We were watching them in church. Like, the amount of fuel they took on board.
Yeah, but that's exactly what it is.
Anorexic dancers, it's an oxymoron. It can't happen. It doesn't work.
But there is pressure to maintain a certain weight because the guys have to lift you. I mean, you can't put on weight.
You see, the thing is, I'm going to be very honest with you. When I'm getting fit for Giselle now. Yeah. I'm eating as normal. I have a 10-month-old child, and I'm just trying to feed him, feed myself, and go to work and maintain a level of fitness. And when Robert came over, I could see him putting on, you know, the heavyweight belt as if he's going like, I've got to lift this. And then he was like, oh my God, you're as light as a feather. It just happens normally. It just happens. The fitter you get, the more weight you tend to lose. It's like nobody ever asked Sonia Sullivan, are you not eating? Yeah. And you saw her, you knew that this woman was an athlete at the peak of her fitness. It's the same with us. Now it does happen, of course it happens. You get a few people that, you know, aren't eating, but when they're not eating, they can't dance. They don't last very long.
Exactly. And we were chatting about this in the break, but this all started for you. You were 14 and you went to Russia.
Yeah.
I mean, that must have been...
It was insane. I teach 14-year-olds now. And some of the parents drive them, they're so close to the studio, they might as well be parking the car in the studio. You know, and I was left to go off to Russia, but, you know, it was just such a fantastic opportunity, and it was a wonderful time to do it, because Russia's changed so much. It's an easier country to live in many ways now, whereas then it was...
tough, Monica, because I remember interviewing you when you...
It was very tough, yeah. The food wasn't great, you know, the attitudes, you were still, you know... It was very aggressive. It was a very aggressive place to be because it was all about survival, where that's slightly changed now and they're a little bit more PC.
In that sense, was the depiction in Black Swan a kind of accurate? In another way, I mean, any of the really good dancers, and I'm assuming that this applies tenfold for the great ones, they're driven. And they're not just driven themselves, but they're also driven by a great teacher.
Yeah, I think that's very important. I think the teachers are crucial as well, that you have a really good teacher and that can... when I teach my girls, to me, everyone is like a puzzle that you have to figure out. They're all individuals and they all have their pluses and their minuses, and I speak to them quite candidly about that. And I look at every person, I try to figure out how to make the best of that person. So even though they might be in the corps, I try to encourage them and say, you know, some of my best years were in the corps, and, you know, let them know that they are a fundamental part of this production. So it is about your teacher. If your teacher can inspire you, you can become anything you want.
Do you have to work out the psychology of your pupils as well? It's not just looking at their physical attributes and what they're capable of, but also you have to get inside their minds to figure out whether they're actually capable of doing it.
To a certain degree, you know, I encourage them all to be themselves. but you have to push them. There's some days they'll come in and they won't want to, but you have to know when to be really hard and when to kind of be a little bit nicer. When, you know, and I know a lot of them are watching now going, no, she doesn't. But you have to be kind of a little bit softer on them some days and then push them. It's all about saying the right things at the right time. And they're young people, they're under a lot of pressure anyway. Like, they have school, they have exams, a lot of them have their leaving, some of them are in college and some of them have full-time work. So you got to know that these people have a real life and they come to me to be trained as ballerinas. And
when it comes to getting involved with roles, I mean, I haven't seen Black Swan, but obviously she becomes ridiculously engaged with the role and the character. I know you said you leave it behind, but like, you have to emote the character. That's really important.
Well, when I'm on the stage, I do. Sometimes I slip in and out because that's my brain. My brain works so much that I can slip in and out of a role, whereas you really should be so involved in it. There's a bit where she goes like that and you see wings, you see it on the ad all the time. And when you do dance and when you do get involved, you almost feel like
you have wings.
You have wings. And in Giselle, I get my heart broken. He betrays me. I'm his mistress. I don't know this. And I die from heartbreak. And I can actually get myself to a state where I cry. But when I get up off the ground at the end, I'll have a big smile on my face for the second act.
But when you're crying like that, will you be living those emotions? Will you feel like you're dying from heartbreak?
Well, I think the older you get, I think the more experiences you've had, and I put myself in some place that makes me very, I suppose, vulnerable.
So that emotion is genuine. You're actually going through it.
Yeah, and I try not to overplay it either. It's a very subtle, because, you know, it has to be very subtle. The audience has to just get it. Like, I just love this is my favourite role, and you know, I get to let my hair down, dust the fringe being grown out and this horrible hair thing going on, but no, I love it. I do. And the second act just is me down to a T, every step. It's like a ballet couldn't be made more for me.
This is your is this your signature?
This is it, yeah. This is who I am. I just love it.
And you said today you're going to go off and train. Give us a notion of what kind of training you need to put in to be able to pull off a performance like Giselle.
Oh, well, every day, a couple of hours every day, but coming up to the show, it's 3 hours this morning with the 3 guys. So we have Todd Fox in from Miami, we have Robert Gabdunin in from Russia, and Andrei Popov in from. So 3 major artists and athletes again. And I'm dancing amongst these. So 3 hours this morning and 3 hours this evening. Same thing tomorrow and tomorrow evening.
What has motherhood done?
Good question.
Straight enough, it's actually chilled me out. It has. I see people as somebody's child now, not as a piece of equipment that I can bend and mould. You know, what can I do? How can I make that look good?
Black Swan there now. But seriously, in terms of your instrument, your body.
Yeah.
I mean, childhood is
you wouldn't know you've had a baby from looking at you.
Pregnancy,
to be fair,
it's wonderful for a woman, obviously. But what does it do to the body of a ballerina?
Well, I have to say my back is a little bit out because of it. But that's kind of.
Did you have an epidural?
Yes. I don't know. I wouldn't say it's got anything to do with that. If I could have had, like, you know, if I could have had another one, I would have taken another one. But I'm just saying, it did change me, but it made me more respectful. I was very lucky. I always took for granted the fact that I was really supple and everything just came so naturally and easily. Whereas now I have the body of other dancers that, you know, that have gone through a life with this body. So I'm just a bit more respectful towards myself now, and I'm a bit more respectful towards the girls, and I'm like, why can't you sit in the splits? Now I'm like, now I know why you can't sit in the splits.
That was another bit Black Swanny there. I'm getting a bit scared.
I know, no, I used to be. A couple of years ago I was, you know, full on, you know, but you know, it's great.
Why can't you sit in the splits?
I know, I was a bit tough on them, yeah, definitely.
So you're chilled now?
Well, I am, yeah, I'm definitely more chilled about it, you know, again, just trying to get ready for this. It's a big production because...
And where can people see it?
Right, you're in the Helix.
Yeah, we're in the Helix on Friday. Yeah, but the Helix are having something with their... the tickets are nearly sold out. They're having something with their website, so just phone all the venues at your best.
You're also doing Galway Town Hall Theatre as well, aren't you?
We are. We're doing the Town Hall on Sunday and we're doing Rathot on Thursday. So yeah, like it's a big gig, big sets, you know. Loads of money has gone into it, you know, so...
You're probably going to get that extra push as well, because people are now, who maybe weren't interested in ballet, are now interested as a result of the movie.
Well, exactly. Like, you know, our sponsors, Allianz, have been pushing it really, really hard for us. Otherwise, nobody would know about us, you know. Our costumes have been shipped in from Russia, our backdrops. All the professionals have been shipped in from Russia. It's big bucks and it's a fantastic production.
Well, we wish you well with the movie.
Thank you very much. Thank you.